It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
All right, good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Thank you for waking up with Wesley. So far this Thursday, we've had some thunderstorms in parts of South Mississippi. You can take a look outside at our views over parts of the coast, courtesy of our WLOX tower cams. Some of them located in Gulfport, Biloxi, as well as the coast of Hancock County. And yeah, we got some rain clouds hanging out. Some of us have seen some rain so far today, and we can actually take a look at the first alert radar to see where the rain is as of the time of this recording. It is currently 8:16, just turned 8:16 on your Thursday, September 25th, 2025, and yeah, we've got some rain that we are continuing to track in the area. Now, I will say the good news is that it is not raining as heavily as it was earlier this morning. And if you are just waking up with Wesley, then maybe you slept through some of the rain that we had earlier this morning. But we were up and at 'em tracking the showers and storms impacting roads for the morning drive earlier today along the Mississippi coast. And it looks like a lot of that has now moved over into Alabama. So that's where we're seeing the majority of the thunderstorms happening near and south of Mobile, basically over Mobile Bay, and that's rolling into parts of Baldwin County. I know there's a pretty decent resort I think I've stayed at before near Point Clear, Alabama, and you've got some downpours happening there this morning. And of course there's the beachfront areas that are pretty popular during the summertime. And yeah, Dolphin Island, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, they are about to get some pretty heavy thunderstorms. Meanwhile, Mississippi's beaches are looking better, relatively speaking, weather-wise, as we don't have nearly as much rain on the coast of Hancock County, Harrison County, and at least western Jackson County. So the majority of our Mississippi beaches are in good shape. I mean, they're probably a little soggy, but at least the weather has cleared up there if you wanted to, you know, try and risk an early morning walk or something along the beach this morning. I don't think we are completely done with the rain today, but if you look toward our west, you don't really see much more coming. As we take a look at the first alert radar off to the west of our Mississippi coast, you would, you know, if you look at this and I circle where most of the rain is on the map, you know, this is all moving off toward the east. So when you look at this, you might be saying, hey, I think we're done with the rain here. And maybe pump the brakes on that just a little bit, because we still have some time before the cool front actually passes through the area. That is what's going to allow for our rain chances to finally drop. Until that happens, there will still be a chance to see at least a few showers and thunderstorms in the parts of our area. So we're going to track out that cool front for you on the Futurecast here. And notice that our computer model is not really getting a good handle on what's happening in reality, since let's compare reality to the computer model. As of 8 a.m., this model is showing rain all across Hancock to George County. But then in reality, there's not really that much. Most of it has moved off toward the east. Sometimes, times like this, I actually like to see if I can look around and shop around for a more accurate computer model. So let's do that together. And I'm going to pop up this Futurecast, which has the radar inside of it. And so there, now we can compare. Let's see, is that pretty close to reality? That's actually not that bad. We might wind up using that, the HRRR model precip type. Let me switch over to the extended. Nope, that's wrong. And I think that was the one that we were using earlier. What about this one? Oh, that's also wrong. What about this one? Nope. So the one that's closest to reality, I would say, is pretty much this one. And even it gets some stuff wrong, but it's not terrible. So we'll go ahead and swap over to the precip type with the HRRR model. So we got that one right. And we'll switch this over to, I believe, this one. And see, something is still looking off about this. I think I know what's going on. I think it's because the time is later. Let's see if I can get that to update. Okay, I think I got it to update for us. And we'll get this one to update too. So it looks like this graph was using an outdated run of a model. So that might be a little bit better. All right, so we've updated our futurecast. Thanks for bearing with me as we did that on the fly. And let's take a look at what we've got. So now when we pulled this up and we compare it to reality, here's what's actually happening, right? We've got the rain mostly Alabama, mainly near or east of the Alabama line. Then we switch over to the futurecast, and that also shows most of the rain near Mobile Bay and such. So I think that's an improvement and would make for a more reliable model projection. So as we go through the rest of this morning, it shows a little bit of a break. I think we could still see some showers and storms near the coast, especially near and east of New Orleans. So watch out for that if you're boating out in the Mississippi Sound, boating offshore in the Gulf. But maybe for us landlubbers, we might catch some hours with a bit of a break as we go from 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, 10 in the morning. We might not get much rain. And what's most important is to watch the cloud cover. You see, we have some pretty thick cloud cover across our 6 southernmost counties, but look up to our north and you can see some breaks in the clouds in this area up here. So if we can get some breaks in the clouds to let some sunlight in, that really gets the daytime heating going, and that's how new thunderstorms could try to pop in the afternoon. Right now, we don't see a whole lot of them popping, but you can see where we showed you the daytime heating. You go to noon, 1 p.m., and you are seeing some showers and storms popping up in that vicinity. So it really all depends on how much sunshine you can get, determining how much daytime heating you can get, determining how much pop-up thunderstorms you can get as we head into Thursday afternoon. If it stays too cloudy, then this might be it. We might be, for some of you, you might be done with rain for the rest of the day, but it all depends on where those clouds break. And so we go through the rest of the afternoon. You can see 1 to 4 p.m. There's not much rain in most places other than maybe a few hit or miss showers. You can see the yellow color there, some isolated downpours, but nothing terribly widespread. Now, it looks like as we go to this evening, the model wants to pop up a new line, a kind of a secondary line, somewhere in this vicinity, maybe near the Alabama line toward Bay St. Louis. So we'll have to watch. The modeling is showing that there's a possibility of a few last call showers and storms. And I call them last call because once the cool front begins to move in tonight, the drier air will sweep away all of the rain and sweep away most of the clouds. So we go to Friday, it will be feeling drier tomorrow. And look at the little bitty icons there, all of these little winds coming in from the north. So we're going to get this kind of pleasant breeze from the north tomorrow morning, making it feel a little bit more like fall with lower humidity. And we go to tomorrow afternoon, we'll technically be on the backside of an area of low pressure, which means I can't completely drop the rain chance to 0, but it is really low at 10 to 20%, just in case we see a stray pop-up shower. Look, even the model shows we can't rule out 1 or 2 little stray stragglers that might try to develop at some point Friday afternoon, some point Friday evening. So we do have that teeny tiny 10 to 20% chance in case one of those can occur, but they're going to be fighting against all of this drier air coming in from the north. And so with that drier air, it means any rain showers that try to develop tomorrow, those are going to be fighting kind of an uphill battle, and they might not be able to win out. Eventually tomorrow night, the rain chance will fall all the way to 0%. So that's what we're tracking for you this Thursday. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms that are a possibility at times today and tonight. And, some places might get a little bit of an isolated downpour. That means we can't completely rule out some localized street flooding wherever the rain falls too heavily and too quickly all at once. Hopefully most of us are spared from any issues because, look, we could use the rain. The latest drought monitor came out showing that the drought conditions actually got worse. Now, there's an asterisk here because the cutoff time, look, we got the new map today. But the data in the map, the cutoff for that actually was Tuesday. I tried to explain that earlier this week. So this map does not take into account any rain we saw yesterday on Wednesday. It also does not take into account any rain we saw today on Thursday. Even though the map is released every Thursday, the data in the map is usually cut off the Tuesday before that Thursday release. So yeah, no improvement. And in some cases, the drought actually got worse. When you zoom out, you can start to begin seeing some level 3 in western Alabama, on the Florida Panhandle, and in northern Mississippi. So some places the drought is becoming severe, and that's going to be our next stop, I think, if we don't get some change in our overall pattern. The rain we're getting today, that's going to run out. So we're not going to stay in a prolonged rainy pattern. As you see, the rain chances, 50% today, 40% tonight, and then pretty slim to none heading into Friday and Friday night. This is setting the stage for a drier weekend, which is, look, great, picture perfect for your weekend activities. But this is the rain amount that we could see today. And you're looking at yellow colors on the map indicating some isolated places that can see more than an inch of rain. But in general, most places with the green color indicating up to an inch of rain. So most of us seeing up to an inch of rain, and then in some isolated places it can be a little bit higher than that. But then tomorrow, hardly any rain other than a stray straggling shower on the backside of the low. And then on Saturday, it's looking like it's completely dry. And this pattern will likely continue to stay pretty dry into the weekend. It will feel drier with the cool front coming in. So today still feeling muggy. Tomorrow feeling less muggy than today. And then Saturday you're actually noticing a kind of almost pleasant feel into Sunday. Now eventually maybe the muggies try to return by the middle of next week. So you got to enjoy the lower humidity Saturday, Sunday, Monday while it lasts. Very nice kind of fall feel there. Will also allow for cooler mornings too. So don't be surprised when you wake up tomorrow morning to some middle and upper 60s, but you might wake up on Saturday morning to some middle and lower 60s. Same thing Sunday morning, and I wouldn't be surprised also to be on the cool side Monday morning too. Now remember, this is a cool front coming in, and that's a good thing as far as tropics are concerned because it helps to steer any tropical weather away from the Gulf. And we do have tropical weather out there in the Atlantic. Let's see what the latest is from the Hurricane Center. There's 2 tropical systems. One of them is called Gabrielle. Another one of them is called Umberto. And then there's a disturbance near the island of Hispaniola with a high chance to become a depression or storm. And the good news is Gabrielle is moving away from us, so it's not really a concern. Umberto is moving between Bermuda and the East Coast over the next 5 days, and it could reach hurricane strength in that time. But as you can see, Umberto is expected to take that turn toward the north, so it's already moving northwest at 10, so it's already not even moving due west. It's moving northwest at 10. Umberto, so not really expecting that to be a concern to the Gulf as that storm begins to turn. And even this other area that is near the island of Hispaniola, the expectation is for that to turn up toward the north away from the Gulf. We've got a cool front that is coming on in, and this front, as it moves across our area today and tonight, is going to set up in the Gulf like that. And it will steer anything trying to come into the Gulf away from the Gulf with that wind shear that is going to turn systems up the East Coast. It's kind of like a big upper trough, a big upper low that's sitting right there, helping to turn any system away from the Gulf Coast region. And then out in the Atlantic, there's actually still a high pressure. We can actually show the current position of that high using some modelized data. So I'm just using a shortcut to draw my map here. But in general, we've got a high pressure that's located about here. So that would be where most of the high pressure is. So it's kind of a loosely, oops, let's draw that with this one. A very broad area of high pressure we can draw it like that. So now you can see why this system that's located, or possible system located near Hispaniola, is going to be steered up around that ridge of high pressure to the west of the high pressure ridge to the east of the East Coast Trough, and it won't really be allowed to come into the Gulf Coast region. So that's good news on the tropics there in regards to any of that activity. Really not expecting to see much of that in our local area, thanks to a cool front that's helping to steer the activity away. So keep your wits about you with a chance of scattered showers and storms today. But as you can see in that 7-day forecast, that's why I don't think this is going to really help our drought in any significant way, because once we get the rain today, we're into another long stretch of low rain chances and little to no rain, which is beautiful for the first weekend of fall, but not so good as far as our drought situation is concerned. So when we get the next map coming out next Thursday, it's not going to have a bunch of rain in it, and it might show just a slight improvement, or it might show kind of no improvement at all and just kind of staying steady state. So in order to get out of a drought, you need consistent rain, not just this little one rain chance of the week, but multiple days with rain chances. And I don't see that setting up for us as we go at least into the next 7 days or so. Well, that'll do it for this Thursday edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Hope that you have a good one, and we'll see you again next time.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.